shining a beacon on the bazaar. Morning, Skip. What are you doing here so early?
Well, it's not that early. I mean, to be fair, I've been here for about 4.5 hours now on the bench.
You have?
Yeah.
Have you got all your jobs done?
Well, let's look at what you've been doing first.
Yeah.
So you've been polishing the lamp?
Yeah, done.
Right, yeah. Do you change all the oil to power the
Of
lamp?
course I do every day,
Yeah, that's it. So did you sort out the living quarters, make all the beds?
Yep, all done, dusted. And
Great
it
stuff.
was dusted as well.
That's it, great. Did you mow the lawn at the back?
Yep, done. Yep,
Right, great
on a
stuff.
daily. It's like a golfing putting green, is that?
Putting green, that's
little
lovely, you
putting
see.
green.
Now,
Gorgeous.
what you have to remember, you see, Arcade, is none of that had got done if I hadn't managed.
Oh, I see your point
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So you see, we need managers. So
yeah,
what it is,
I
you
would
see,
have forgotten about you right there.
there's a structure to how this works. You see, so what we need is, you see, we need the work doing, but we need somebody to manage the work getting
So
done.
you've been here all the time managing it?
Yeah.
Oh, cheers, Skip. Honestly, I think...
Hey, don't mention it.
No,
It's
no,
absolutely my pleasure.
I appreciate it. I really do. I'll make lunch after this as well as a big thank
Good
you.
lad, that's it. Well, I need it. It's hungry work, isn't it?
I bet it is.
You know what I
Is
mean?
your bum alright being sat there for that long?
It's a little bit achy, but you can massage that out later.
Okay.
You get all the warm oils on it and stuff like that.
I'll get that little magaggy hands going on here.
Good lad, this is what I like to hear. Because this is KRAKEN COVE, the podcast that shines a beacon onto the bazaar. And I'm manager Matt.
And I'm a undermanaged Benny. Oh no, overmanaged. Overmanaged.
Managed just right.
Yeah.
Because you do a really good job,
I
Arcade.
hope so, Skip. I hope so.
You
Works
do,
hard
that's
and
it. And
knackered.
if you get very good, you get the Employee of the Month award again.
I ain't had that for years.
Well, I've had it for quite a while.
I think 6 years running in it.
Yeah, it's 6 years running. But you just keep reaching out for that.
I'm
you know?
gonna
reach for the stars.
Yeah,
Arcade.
reach for the stars. That's
Well, the
nice.
thing is, you see, I do all the casting as well, remember?
You know, that is a big. Yeah, that is a big.
You know,
bit.
it's a big job, is the casting, you know.
yeah.
And you know what? With big casting, big jobs of casting, comes big news.
What have we got, Skip?
Mate, this is the fucking news of the decade for me. Valerie, the sausage dog,
Oh
is
yes,
finally being captured.
I didn't go too far. Someone sent me, thank you, Mr. Forrest, but someone sent me like a quick video on it. I thought, I won't delve any deeper because I don't want to know.
What they've done is
Captured.
I think what they've done is they've put some sort. They said there's some sort of food traps they've put down. So they put foods, little sort of like food stashes down, so they know that the dog will come to these zones all the time.
And I heard they used the barking off sausage dogs as well. They've
Really?
Yeah, they've used that, to lure it in. You know what I mean? Just to like, huh? Well, is that a friendly voice?
How incredible, right? And now I've seen a little bit of video footage of Valerie actually at one of these food traps.
Oh.
Looks absolutely tip-top condition.
That's what.
Tail wagging,
Yeah.
ragging food around.
Well, its mother, the owner, she said that animals must be helping groom it. That's what she actually said. I'm like, what? The other animals are grooming
Can
it.
you want to see that?
I
The
know.
kangaroo's giving a good lick.
Oh, mate,
Sorting
it's
it out.
Disney.
You've
It's
got like a
proper-
little spiny echidna doing its nails or
Yeah.
something. Little
Oh,
possums. And
Yeah,
things.
little blue tits coming and that fuck, a little bow around its neck and
Yeah,
that.
get it all sorted out. And there it goes, Valerie, when she's all tipped up and ready to go.
Have you got much? How long were Valerie missing?
529 days.
What the shit? I didn't think it was that. I thought it was going to be a couple of weeks.
529 days.
That
So
is
it's an
insane.
incredible story of survival, So this is actually from The Independent, is this? So it says, after more than 500 days on the run, Valerie the miniature dachshund has finally been found safe and well on Kangaroo Island in South Australia. The pampered pet dog's remarkable survival story has made global headlines since she went missing in November 2023 while on holiday with her owners on Stokes Bay.
mad.
It's absolutely mad, isn't it? So it's the Koala Wildlife Rescue is overjoyed to announce the successful rescue of Valerie, right? There's been volunteers out trying to find her. There's been putting these food traps down. Everything that's been going on,
So is this how she got a food trap? What is it like?
I
She
think
fell in a
so,
hole
by the
or
looks
something?
of it, you know what I mean? It says, but apparently what happens is the rescuer said Valerie had made it through alive by entering a survival mode and was now exhibiting behaviour associated with lost dog syndrome. When a dog gets lost, once that dog realises the stress that's going on, they basically have to fend for themselves. So what happens is like almost like a wild dog side of them kicks in.
Wow.
And so it's like, so I mean, basically what's happened is she escaped from a pen. They had a little pen for her while they were on holiday. She escaped from the pen and legged it, right? But I didn't realise how big fucking Kangaroo Island is, right?
Oh, is it a big one?
It's an area 6 times the size of Singapore.
Wow.
Home to rugged beaches, farmland and wildlife.
Oh, Jesus.
So, and they said she's not a rough and tough outdoors dog or anything, And,
It's a sausage dog.
yeah, little sausage
Tiny
dog,
little
yeah.
legs.
But they'd said they'd used cameras, surveillance, specially prepared traps to try and capture her, right? But she would flee at the first sign of humans or vehicles, right? And it's like, so they said hopes of rescue had been fading, right?
Yeah.
But then Valerie is spotted 16 months after her disappearance. So this is the story that we covered last time and everything, So I think what's happened is they wrote that they used surveillance and various trapping and luring methods into the area where she was last seen to try and bring her home. They also asked the public to report any sightings, and they had a lot of luck. The recovery effort is estimated to involve more than 1,000 hours of volunteer time and around 5,000 kilometres of travel on the island.
What the hell?
So they said also the odds of surviving have been super low, but they reckon she's eaten roadkill, she's drank dam water, and possibly even been fed by locals. So I think locals have also been leaving food out for her, which I think is really sweet as well.
That is really cool.
So they haven't really sort of gone into it how they've trapped her, or whether I'd imagine they've put some sort of like a cage trap out or something. To possibly get her. Yeah. But basically, she's safe and well now,
and groomed.
You get like
that. What the hell's going on there?
It's absolutely
what an adventure. That should be a movie, shouldn't it?
It should be. Valerie the dog, the movie. I mean, it'd be absolutely fantastic.
Especially Doggy Cow. You've seen it from her perspective. Or
there's a new horror movie out. Have you seen this?
No.
There's a horror movie out basically from a dog's perspective, and apparently it's winning awards and all sorts.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, that's it. So something's happening. The dog's sort of protecting the family or doing something like this.
That's bizarre.
But Valerie the dog, the survivalist, the Rambo of the dog world. That's it. It's a little bandana on, sort of making little jerking for itself and stuff,
In cave and that with fire.
But as we said before, though, about we dogs, they said, like in this article, said that dogs are actually one of the great sort of like opportunists. And the thing is with a dog is because they've been with us for so long, they've become highly intelligent as well.
Alright.
So they're not just sort of like saying, like wolves where they wake up, the hunt, the go kill, the mate, the do.
Dogs there watching telly with you, ain't she? Could be learning all sorts.
That's exactly. Be watching Ray Mears. It's picking up tips.
Be a Gordon Ramsay.
For me, Gordon Ramsay.
Top Gear. Could be driving you about.
Fat dog in a little kitchen. Driving you around. Top Gear.
I saw it, I swear to God, it wasn't even CG. It was straight video of a dog on a, it was like a lawnmower, like one of those dry round lawnmowers. It was fucking doing more. It was mowing the lawn.
Well, that's what we need.
Exactly.
Maybe that's what you need. Maybe we need Valerie at Island.
Ooh, that's going to train her up a dog.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty good. God, not a pack. Can you imagine that?
Oh, no, I could be out of a job, couldn't I, really?
Well,
all I need to do is put a bit of fish fingers in, mow lawn. Get one polishing.
Well, it'd be a question of sort of increasing the team, you see. So then, rather than being a manager, I'll be a director.
Oh,
you could be the manager.
Oh, well,
and then all dogs would be your staff. I think that'd be quite nice.
The Isle of Dogs.
The Isle of Dogs. Exactly.
I ain't seen that one.
Yeah, it's very good. Actually.
Is it?
Yeah, it's one of his. But because the thing is with Wes Anderson movies, that's one of his.
I do love his films.
I did.
Yeah.
He's got a new film out at the moment, and I've watched the trailer for it, and I just thought, oh, fucking hell, come on, man.
I know you mix that other one, that one way, that spacey one or something, middle of desert, or a bit.
Oh, I liked that.
Yeah, we're alright.
But for me, that was the end of him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just sort of say, right, is it, I don't know, meteor or asteroid, or whatever it was, this, and it was good, but it just, to me, he's starting to jump the shark now.
Yeah,
where you can't do the same formulaic thing ever. I work with a lot of artists who, you see one of the pieces, you think, fucking, that's really good.
Yeah.
And then you see another one, oh, well, that's similar, but it's really good. And then you realise all their art is very similar, and they're not stretching themselves or changing themselves or adapting
They've
or
got
moving
like
on.
a winning formula and they're just like
Yeah,
cloning it out.
and that's what Wes Anderson's doing a little bit, you know, when he's with this stuff. But whereas he's doing the animation stuff, he's actually doing something very new and unusual, I think. And it's obviously it's not new in the sense it's a very ancient tradition or very old tradition of animation. I mean, it is ancient. In fact, it goes back to puppetry. You know, but. He's doing it in a way which is fresh and original, and I think he should do a little bit more like that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're listening, Wes. Sort it out, there.
Sort your shit out, get your shit together, you know what I mean? But yeah, so with Valerie the dog, all saved.
What
I'm
a tale.
over the moon.
There
Over
you
the
go.
moon with that, yeah. She could be first on your payroll, I think.
Apply within?
Yeah.
Oh, bless her.
Right, for our next one, Arcade, we're staying in Australia.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to
Down
Victoria in Australia now, and we've got some more little animals which are a bit of in a bit of bother.
All right.
So there's been bushfires in Australia.
Ooh, nasty.
Now the weird thing is, it kind of is and it isn't in a weird way with Australia. The issue,
They need them, don't they?
They need them. The whole ecosystem of Australia is actually based on fire.
Yeah.
So they do need to have burn backs. There's even certain plants.
Yeah, they only come out, don't they, after? Yeah,
That's exactly right. So certain sort of cones or seeds only pop if they've been exposed to fire. That sort of thing. It's the whole thing has been sort of dedicated to sort of surviving fire.
Yeah.
But there has been a bushfire. 2,000 hectares of habitat, right, has hit this sort of the Budge Bim National Park, right? That's the area that's been hit by fire. And the thing that's really in trouble is the koalas.
Oh dear.
So the koalas. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to send your mate Phil out to help them because if he had to fuck an animal, because if he had to fuck an animal, he always said that he'd fuck a koala.
Why a koala, Phil? Because they're cute. I could have been sick right in his shoes. I was like, you filthy beast.
Because I'm fancy.
Yeah, that's really cute.
Put a little bit of lippy on one.
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh, yeah. Grab hold of its ears and go right good rattling.
Yeah, like knock me off first, and then I'll get him up its bum.
Wow.
So, you know, so this is a big problem in Victoria in Australia. These koalas now, a lot of the habitat in their area is disappeared, you know. Now, we want to keep in mind as well what's happened with Valerie, you know, 1,000 hours of sort of like volunteers trying to find all these little food traps, cameras going down
for
everything.
one pooch,
For one pooch. So you sort of think, right, how big is this operation going to be for the koalas? Save the koalas, you know what I mean? So what would you imagine? How would you go about saving all these koalas?
I'd fucking leave them.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually with you on that. Because it's sort of, it's kind of nature in a way,
Exactly.
you know?
Get used to it, koalas.
But what I can report now, they've decided they're not going to do this. They are not going to let the koalas suffer like that. You know what I mean? So what they've decided to do is they've got the helicopters out and they're going to shoot them all.
Jesus Christ! What do you mean?
So what they're doing
Like
is...
the wild hog videos,
Yes!
you know what I mean? No!
They're doing that with koalas!
Oh God, that's awful. I hope they run away, because the balls look like they're running away from helicopter. I hope the koalas like spear them and that.
Yeah. And they say
Jesus.
because of the lack of habitat and they reckon the lack of water, there's nowhere for it to eat or anything like that. They've got no sort of... they've got no cover because the trees have sort of like all been
How did
burned
they
up.
survive fire? They can't have all run off.
Yeah, well, this is the thing that I don't think they're taking into account, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know, the koalas, they've managed.
Yeah, if they've got away from fire, they'll be fine. Don't fucking shoot
So they
them.
reckon there's about 700 of them, right? I mean, I think a lot of them they reckon are Joeys, so it's the little babies, not Joey Deacon. One for the kids there. But they reckon it's the young... But for my money, right, out of 700 koalas, yeah, they might sort of starve to death in places. They might sort of like... Unfortunately, that is nature.
Yeah.
You know, if a bushfire had happened normally in the koala habitat, the koalas would have been in trouble. They've just had to sort of possibly die.
Yeah.
Some of them would have made it on to different habitats.
Yeah.
But have found the way to somewhere else to survive. Somewhere, you know,
This is bizarre. This can't be right. Well, they're out in... It's making it sound like they're in the burnt area, like loads of them all wandering around, like
a little gang of 700 of them,
like
you know
looking
what I mean?
up, help us.
This is the thing. So I find it's insane, this whole idea of doing it. First of all, the costs as well. I mean, I don't like to talk about costs and that sort of thing, but taking helicopters up, trained marksmen.
Who would do such a thing?
Can you imagine? You wouldn't be able to look yourself in the mirror, would you?
What you been doing today, Daddy?
Oh, well, remember those fires?
Remember those cute little koala bears?
Do you know all the teddy bears you've got on your bed there? Well, I've been hunting them today.
Imagine slaughter of it and that. Like Vietnam music.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, that's it. We've got Creedence playing in the background.
Get some!
That's it. I ain't no fortunate one. Daka, daka, daka,
Villages.
Yeah, that's it. Little koala villages all going up in flames.
That emotional Platoon music and
that's
that.
it,
You know, when that bloke in Platoon puts his hands up, you know what I mean?
Barber's adagio for strings playing in the background, slow motion koala getting bang, bang, bang. It's like spitting eucalyptus leaves out of its gulp. Other koalas.
The horror.
Stephen, no!
They can't possibly do these.
It's such a fucked up idea.
And one, they're not in the burnt area, are they? Because they would have been burnt. So they're going to hunt them in the trees and the stuff. It's
this is the thing that's absolutely wild. It's absolutely mental.
They need to pause this straight away. They need a phone call.
Other people are saying as well, though, that they're worried as well. The wildlife advocacy groups are saying this is a terrible thing to do because there could also be a case of there'd be from a distance of about 30 metres that having to take the shot. What could have happened as well is perfectly healthy koalas from one area might be just moseying on through the district to go to somewhere else. Next thing you know, they hear this wop, 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 wop. They're getting fucking shot.
That's pure evil. Just leave them alone. Plus, it's like you said, it's happened loads in Australia. The seeds know what to do. The koalas
do as well.
Let
yeah,
them fucking be. And it ain't cruel to let them starve, is it? You just think, well,
the issue that people have with anything is to think that nothing can cope without human intervention. You know, now you look at, say, for example, like Japan. Right, they had loads of problems like floods, erosion, all sorts of stuff. So what Japan did was they started to concrete out all the rivers and things.
Oh yeah,
remember us talking about we did cover this, and on the coast they found this coastal erosion is issue. So they put these massive geodesic sort of like concrete emplacements in place. Completely fucked the beach. Completely fucked what everything looks like. They're just trying to overmanage. It's this thing of control because a lot of people can't deal with the idea that we have to control everything. This is out of control now. That's a vermin. Calling things vermin. Saying, these animals have got trouble, so what we need to do, we need to control and manage them. Their idea of controlling and managing these particular animals is shooting them from a fucking helicopter.
And with Australia, they're that paranoid about, where did the cane toads come from? I never understood that.
Right, well, what it was, there was, the whole thing with the cane toads was, there was, because of the way they managed the land and farmed, and with certain things of over-farming, there was plagues of locusts. Now, locusts have a weird sort of like lifespan. So what they'll do, they start as like a thing, like a grub kind of thing on the ground sort of thing, and then they transform into, like, I think they call them a pink. There's a type of locust which is a ground walker. It doesn't fly yet. The issue they have with locusts is when they swarm. So they go to like a next stage where they're winged and fly, and that's where you can have millions, if not billions.
Frightening, is that?
Frightening. And what they'll do is, they'll just land on a farm and in hours strip it completely of everything. That will devastate that farm. So somebody had the bright idea, so what we need is a ground predator for when they're in this small stage of walking stage that will eat locusts. So I thought, great, what we'll do is we'll introduce this toad eats fucking everything like a machine.
Where did it come from, though?
I don't know. I think it's probably an African toad, if you ask me. So, but I'm just pulling that straight out of my hat. But they introduced the toad.
Fucking
toad didn't eat all the locusts.
Oh,
they had a few, but they just ate everything else as well. So they're eating small mammals, marsupials.
Jesus.
So they fucking eat everything. But then they found that other animals like dingoes or other creatures would start trying to eat the cane toads. The cane toads excrete a toxic poison from their skin which kills other animals.
I thought you got high on it.
Well, you can because it's a toxic substance. If you had a little bit of the toxic substance, you can get really high. So licking a cane toad will get you high, but also could potentially kill you.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not a good idea to lick toads anyway. You know what I mean?
No,
so these things are fucking terrible. So I think then they were looking, even fairly recently, looking at something to reintroduce then again on top of that to kill the cane toads. And you're just fucking stop.
Get the koalas to kill the cane toads.
Oh, can you imagine that?
War.
Yeah, that's it, like Fury. But I think there has been some sort of natural balance occurring a little bit when we all cane toads scene now. Yeah, but you know,
that's a mad idea, isn't it? Though, let's try that. What are you fucking on about?
Well, this is the thing about meddling in these ways and introducing certain things to say this is. It's like when they hybridise certain bees because they thought, well, if we cross this bee with that bee, you get this massive honey production. And I thought, yeah, it did work, but what happened? That he actually created was these mega aggressive bees.
Oh God! Killer bees.
Killer bees. That's
they made killer bees.
Yeah, so killer bees was made by people fucking about again with nature.
God.
This is part of it. You've got to have a hands-off sort of point of view.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, if you watch, there's one of the most infuriating shows on TV to watch is Country File.
Oh yeah, never. Yeah.
Right, it's one. I never watch it now because it's basically all these people talking about farming and how farming's fucking amazing. Now it's great, and they talk about wildlife and nature. And you know, some farmers are doing some really good things. But like, I was watching this guy and he's managing. You've got to manage these moorlands in a certain way, otherwise these animals won't thrive. You've got to do it for nature. So he's burning back all this heather and stuff. What he's burning back the heather for is things like pheasants, grouse, animals like birds like this, right? And those birds are there because people want to shoot them, right? We do not need all those grouse and pheasant things on the moors. You know, they're not a lot of pheasant aren't even an English bird.
Are there?
Pheasants are pound for pound. Right, the most amount of birds in the UK is the pheasant. Right, and it's an introduced bird from India.
Shit,
it's an Indian
never
bird.
knew that.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's it. It's not a native species at all. All the pheasant, any pheasant you ever see has been introduced here to be shot. Right,
right.
These massive pheasant farms everywhere, right? And what they're doing is they're basically taking the chicks, growing up pheasants and everything, and then just releasing them in the wild.
Wow,
right, in time for hunting season.
I never knew that. I thought they were just naturally out there.
No, they are completely raised, and if you go around on the moors, you'll find big feed stations all over the place all around Yorkshire.
Or just a fake bird.
Yeah, they're a fake bird, just be shot. And so then all these rich dickheads go out and shoot all the birds. But what do they do with all the meat from the birds?
They'll eat it.
No.
Oh my God.
They dig a big pit and they bury the birds.
No.
And they do it all again next year.
Oh Jesus.
It's fucking insane.
Did you put it in ground?
So they talk about, this is the big myth, so you'll see sort of game or pheasant and grouse and things like this ready for the pot and all that sort of stuff. But if all these hunters have, you know, all out with the shotguns, they've killed sort of 500 pheasants in one day, what are you going to do with 500 pheasants? Now, you could say, well, what you do is you pass all that meat on to a meat processing plant and they do something, dog food or something. I don't know, you know what I mean? I'm not saying this is a good idea, I'm saying it's better than what they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's a legal responsibility to do that.
But to create a wildlife habitat that these birds are easily seen, so there's no trees in the way, right, so where they can easily be shot and have a jolly old time of it, this is why they're burning moors and things.
Fucking hell.
It's fucking mental.
So grim,
because this is the thing about over managing any kind of land in the world. You can't over manage things. You know what I mean? It's easy, even like with the tree quotas for planting. So they sort of say, look, we need to plant more trees. Great idea. So what did they plant? They planted loads and loads and loads and loads of pines. But pines are a monoculture. Any forest that's a monoculture isn't a healthy culture. It's only one thing. And if you walk into any big vast pine forest in the UK, there's almost nothing living in it.
Right.
You know, because also the pines they introduce they don't want anything that can be easily pests and things.
Yeah.
But what they forget is these insects and things aren't pests, they live here. They have to have something to live on.
The ecosystem, man.
So if you introduce oak trees and yew trees, for example, if you look at the biodiversity of these trees, they can have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different insects living on them quite happily and harmoniously. Because they're meant to be there. They go, this is Afford because we live here, the trees live here, this is what we do. Introduce all these sort of monoculture of like these fast-growing pines, nothing eats it.
God.
It's wrong. This is what they mean.
It's really twisted, isn't it?
Yeah,
it isn't even that nice, is it? Really?
It's fucking horrible. It tastes like shoes.
You've got to get that cranberry on it, and you even just to get it down your gullet.
You've got to do
It's like shoes.
Yeah, it's a fucking dark, earthy,
Yeah.
bleak meat. It's often really dry.
Yeah,
You've got to
it's
hang
not
it
nice.
like fuck till it's virtually rotten until it's sort of edible. It's not.
No,
fucking
it's not
good
nice,
food.
is it?
It's not. So this is the reason why people are doing stuff like that. But this is why I say back to the koalas.
Yeah.
We need a hands-off approach from the koalas.
Yeah.
I am actually in agreement that they should have captured Valerie, but you didn't see a helicopter going out there trying to shoot her,
Exactly. Yeah. Leave those koalas alone, man.
did you? Yeah, well, this is the thing. Then they've actually got a fighting chance.
Yeah.
They could all die,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be a nice death for them. But the reality is, some might survive, and those koalas might sort of waddle off. And
If Valerie did,
exactly.
Yeah.
You said it. So
Yeah,
all they might do is just make it across to a gum tree or whatever it is, the eucalyptus tree. Climb up, have a little munch, have a little snooze. You're back to
I
square
can't
one.
even see him as a fuck. I'm seeing Mogwai now. Like they're walking around on two legs rather than you know what I mean, like a bear. I've just seen him that cute. You know what I mean, just like a little two-legged.
Yeah, it's just fucking stupid. They shouldn't be doing it. They shouldn't be fucking around with stuff like that. You know
Don't
what I mean?
feed him after midnight, for fuck's sake.
So we're going to stick with tampering with the natural kingdom, our kid. And this has been a big news story. We've got to cover this because we have discussed it as well.
Where?
And this is Colossal Biosciences. It's a company.
Colossal what?
Colossal Biosciences, they're called.
That's what their name is.
Yeah, so they already sound like a fucking Bond villain
They
or
do
something.
those kind
terrible.
of Roman
that's it.
Empire or something. What the
So
fuck
they're a
is-
genetic engineering company, and they reckon saying this. What they say is they've birthed 3 dire wolves.
dire wolves. What are
Have
they?
you not heard about this?
No.
So basically, what it was is, so you got wolves. You got
Yeah.
the biggest breed of the wolves is the timber wolf, right? That's
Yeah,
a
big
great
boy, innit?
big
Yeah,
fucker,
yeah.
right? Much bigger than them is the dire wolf.
Shit. Are these real then? Is this an old wolf from the
This is
fucking...
a wolf that died out 12,000 years ago.
Shit.
So this is one big fucking predatory unit out there, right?
What the
Yeah,
fuck are
and
they
it
doing?
was made famous because it was the dire wolves were in Game of Thrones.
Ah,
so
right.
I think like it was the House Stark, the family there. They were gifted
Never
the
seen it
kids.
like
Yeah,
that,
it's
yeah.
it's good TV. I like it actually. I play.
Yeah, a
watch
lot
it
of
all,
people
yeah.
would.
And in fact, do you know what? I am going to fucking rewatch all that. I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah,
I'm going
go
to
on,
rewatch
yeah,
all that.
yeah.
These box sets, right? I know we're going. Box sets I'm going to rewatch, right?
All right.
I'm going to watch the fucking lot of Game of Thrones again. I'm going to watch all of Breaking Bad again.
It is good, isn't it?
Fucking magnificent.
Yeah.
Really.
Better Call Saul. What was it?
Yeah, Better Call Saul, yeah.
I enjoyed that more than Breaking Bad, really.
Yeah. I'm going to watch all of Twin Peaks again.
Yes.
Yeah, and I might try with X-Files, although I have been watching some recently. He hasn't aged well.
No, not there. I've watched it 3 times, that Ripley. I'm on 3rd time watching it.
Yeah, the black and white one.
Yeah,
I've only watched
beautiful.
half of one episode.
Oh, it's so
but I'm
good.
saving it.
It is, honestly,
Yeah.
that's like a fine wine, man.
Yeah.
Fair play, yeah.
Yeah, so
I always
any-
want to do Sopranos. Have you ever done that?
Sopranos, I think I've watched about sort of 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But it is superb. People say it's some of the best TV ever. Another good one is The Wire.
Yeah, I watched a bit of that, and that was fucking hardcore, man. That's gritty.
Yeah, it's great. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed. I really enjoyed 1 or 2 seasons. And then one were a bit off, and people said to me, was it season 3 or whatever,
Yeah.
or season 2?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you are." And they're like, "Good. You've got to push through."
And after
the
that,
next
it's like-
seasons will just get better and better.
Yeah,
So I will be watching that. But anyway, back to the direwolf. So there, the direwolves basically, like I say, is this great big fucking died out predator sort of thing.
And they've made it.
So what they've done is they've birthed 3 direwolf pups called Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi.
Oh, fuck's
right?
sake.
Which I sort of think as well is sort of
Evil.
a bit evil. Yeah, that's it. Well, Romulus and Remus, do you know who they are?
It's the start of the Greeks, innit? They were thrown. They had to run away. Our mother got rid of them down Wicker Basket, didn't they? and then they were sucking out wolf's tits.
Yeah, well, Romulus, and well, then one killed the other. Romulus killed Remus, and Romulus made Rome. It's the start of the Roman Empire.
Didn't they? I thought they stole all the fucking shit from the Greeks. The fucking.
Well, the Romans did as well. Yeah, basically, but it was like there culturally.
I thought it was the Greeks that started.
No, it's the start of the Romans. Is all that sort of stuff. Right. You know what I mean? So basically, what they've done is
Remus is a bit of a dirty name, though, isn't it?
What
are you doing with that wolf? Just
what do you want that wolf to do to you? Oh, just Remus. They were legs up in air.
On all fours. Wanking on all fours.
Good boy. Hey boy. Hey boy. Got a load of chumps made of an arsehole.
Oh, God. Oh,
just eat Marmite. Go on, lad. Have a go.
Oh, that's a big toe. Ooh.
Big wolf, big toe.
Yeah, that's why they've done it.
That's exactly it. So it's known for its white coat. Is this wolf? It's a huge coat with a white coat right in it.
How did they know that if it were 12,000 years ago?
Well, they have found frozen things like direwolves in permafrost and things like this. You know what I mean? And that's the thing they found. So that's how they know about it.
That's mental.
So the Colossal Biosciences CEO Ben Lamb said in a statement, "Our team took DNA from a 13,000-year-old tooth and a 72,000-year-old skull and made healthy direwolf puppies."
How have they done that?
Well, what they've done is they've cloned high-quality cell lines using somatic cell nuclear transfer into donor eggs. So they've taken normal wolf eggs, right? They've put this stuff into it, right? And then what they've done is they've made embryos from this. Then they've put the embryos into a wolf. The wolf's grown the direwolves inside it.
And this is all in labs and fucking...
This is all in labs. This is proper, like, fucking Jurassic Park bullshit, you know what I mean?
Was it Dr. Monroe's Island or something?
Oh, Island of Dr. Moreau,
Well,
that's it, yeah. Doctor, it's like a kid's book. Love that Dr. Monroe. Hello, children.
Island of Bugsy Malone. They should be doing that shit, man.
Yeah. Was it Jules Verne? I can't remember who wrote Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But apparently what they've done is... this is fucking mental what they've done. Last month they created headlines, did the same company, right? When they created a woolly mouse.
A woolly mouse?
A woolly mouse?
It's not a woolly mammoth, a woolly mouse.
Well, they used DNA from a woolly mammoth and spliced it with a mouse to make a woolly mouse, right?
What the fuck are they doing this shit for?
Well, what it is there's like the elephant shrew, for example.
Yes.
Is more closely related to an elephant than a shrew.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. So there's certain animals which are genetically close. It's like there's certain animals which are a lot closer to being like a tapir, for example, with a big wanger and everything.
That'll be like a banana or something.
Yeah, we're really closely related to bananas and things. Yeah.
What the fuck are you
and the
talking
tapir
about?
is more closely related to whales than it is to sort of other mammals. These animals, which is they follow different genetic lines. But so what they've obviously found is they found one of these mice is closely related to an elephant. They've spliced the DNA with it and they made a wool. And I think it's a tester because they want to make a woolly mammoth.
Whoa! How are they getting the money? What evil operation is? Who's funding this shit?
Well, this is the thing that I cannot fucking get my head around. It's like, you know, what? Who's paying for this? Yeah. You know, on whose ticket are they making?
It's an horror movie, isn't it? If you go in there, there's pens of wolves and you know what I mean. One's
woolly mice everywhere.
Yeah.
And what else they're making? Because the thing is as well that they've told us they've made this.
Yeah.
So what were the weird things they made before? I bet it'd be like the fucking Thing. I bet these things thrashing around in some sort of lab somewhere. They're all ready with flamethrowers to put the fucking thing out. But I know already they're working on the woolly mammoth. They're working and doing that.
Well, they're doing it in humans, or is there little embryos going around?
Well,
woolly humans?
Woolly humans.
Woolly men?
Mammoth humans, can you imagine that? Mammoth man.
Like fucking manimal?
Dire woman. White coat, really big.
Oh, Jesus. It's kind of hot. I can see Bigfoot.
I can see. Back to your favourite, Arkin. Those big swinging woolly tits.
Oh, yes.
But they've used the grey wolf as the main donor for things, right? And apparently there's 15 extinct direwolf variants, so they've gone sort of like through the various genomes and found the most compatible one and made it work. Now, a lot of people have actually kind of fought against this and said, no, they haven't made a direwolf. It's not a pure direwolf. It is a crossbreed. Because they haven't... Again, a bit like Jurassic Park, is they've used other wolf DNA to sort of like add up the rest of the DNA to make the full genome. They haven't got the full genome of the direwolf. Therefore, they used other wolf DNA. So what's born isn't actually a true direwolf. It's some sort of strange hybrid. Completely unnecessary in a way. One animal which I think would be really good to bring back actually is the auroch. Now the auroch is it's the relative of all domestic cattle. It's this great big fucking horned cow which roamed the plains everywhere. But it's what's known as megafauna. Megafauna was this whole era, an epoch where they had these great big things like giant sloths and giant animals and stuff. And certain giant animals which aren't predators were really, really good for the ecosystem. They'd sort of like make clearings inland. They'd sort of snort around with their big snouts and sort of snuff stuff up. They'd leave massive amounts of shit everywhere which would fertilise the plains. There were like the bioengineers with these animals. But what we've done is we've re-engineered. Well, we've already bioengineered cows to be what they are, so they produce way too much milk. There's something wrong with them in the way that the amount of methane they produce is extremely dangerous. Farting constantly, it's a massive danger to the ecosystem.
Heard that.
Yeah.
It's like that's the big one. Worse than China, aren't they? Cows
are fucking cows. Worse than China.
Nice tits on them though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's. But this is the thing. It's just like you like what. And all I can think of is now you having a massive rampage about the Chinese and cows. That's what your agenda is. Your agenda's the Chinese and the cows. But yeah, so they've made this and they've tinkered where they shouldn't have tinkered.
And now they're doing it again with fucking. Why are they doing it with wolves, Arky?
Well, my theory behind it is they're trying to create mega predators which will live in areas where the predators aren't anymore, to hunt things like woolly mammoths.
And the Chinese.
Just releasing direwolves into China. Fly, my beauties.
Big horrible wings on them.
That's it.
Yeah. So they're pretty cool at the moment at Chinese. They're really funny. They're really making me laugh.
That's nice. Well, they're doing tickling you.
No, it's just with all Trump stuff and that. It's really
that's
funny.
it. You don't fuck with it. The thing is, you don't fuck with the Chinese.
Well, they said, we've been here 5,000 years, we will be here another 5,000 years. You think, that's the point. You're not even, how old is America? You're well young.
This is it. I've forgotten there's a famous, I think it was a Chinese quote about sort of like, when they said about, they're looking at a historical battle, I believe, and I'm not sure that, I think it's apocryphal, it might not be true or not, but what they said was that there's this, they interviewed somebody and they sort of said about this historical battle or something that had happened, and it was like hundreds of years ago, and he says, do you think that battle in itself had like a good or a bad effect? And he says, it's too soon to say.
Wow.
It's too soon to say.
Fucked.
And I really admire that in a way where they don't look at the lifespan of an individual or even one sort of like ruling leadership. It's about
not
where
even a dynasty. They're looking at it bigger. Jesus,
look
that's good, isn't it? I like that. That's frightening. Like shit.
Yeah. Whereas, like you said, when you have somebody like Trump, well, they're trying to make everything happen now. It can't. It can't all happen now. You can't just turn a corner, turn left, and make everything a success. The only way to actually make something work on their basis is a little bit, because the Chinese have been guilty of this. The Great Leap Forward and their Cultural Revolution. This is why they were fully prepared to allow like tens of millions of people die, because they knew that the only way to make massive change is to almost destroy everything to start again. And this is where somebody like Trump sort of thinks, well, we're just going to make America great again. No, you have to destroy America to make it great again. You can't just turn a corner. It doesn't happen like that. You can't make an empire just without destroying another culture by absorbing it. That's the only way that the British Empire came about, was to going across to places like India, completely absorbing all their resources, materials, money, everything like that. And we got big off the back of that. That is the only way to create a great empire. And because this is why empires are bad. You know,
that's why empires strike back.
Exactly, yeah. Yes, our kid. Yes.
I know I've heard that before.
But weirdly enough now, so back to the direwolves, so Colossal Industries is now valued at $10.2 billion is this place, right? So they are in the moment, they reckon that it's going to be late 2028 before the first of the mammoths are being born.
Jesus.
They're nearly that way along. And if you think of, you know, all the things that have been dying out, all the animals that they could be looking after.
Yeah,
weird one is, which might have mentioned now before, is the white-clawed crayfish.
Oh, yes, you have.
Yeah, so there's even around Yorkshire, the Yorkshire region, it's one of the few last places of the white-clawed crayfish surviving. Yeah. And we should be sort of putting resources into saving things like this, these little creatures which you sort of like get wiped out.
It's just so weird that they're valued at that much. They're doing such bizarre work. How the fuck is that profitable?
They're doing something dark. But because I think they're doing something dark which we don't know about.
And like I said, the full agenda there, where they're leading up to. It ain't just the woolly mammoth, is it? I know it's a big thing, but you think, what the shit?
Well, what they might be doing, another thing they might be doing is actually taking massive amounts of DNA samples now, you know, mapping the genomes of animals, which like the white rhino, various things like this, creatures which are dying out, which we want to save. They might be getting it to a point where they're saying, actually, if we do accidentally wipe out something really important, we can bring it back. But I still sort of think, well, they'll spend that money on saving it, or breeding programs, or something to sort of, or change where the situation in those countries where it's happening. This is the problem. You can't just bring an animal back, drop it into an ecosystem which is already fucked. Because that animal's not going to survive again. It'll only survive.
Or it'll be like something wrong with it that we don't know. It'll be like fucking really clever and it'll start
carnivorous elephant.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Go on rampages and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a crazy world.
It is a crazy world. Like it. I think this is why we're safer on our island. Me and you are a bit like Valerie, aren't we, on our little island? You know what I mean? Just surviving.
Yeah, I like that. Let's not bring any dogs on now. I don't want any dogs.
No, we don't want. Things we don't want on the island is dogs, direwolves, or mammoths.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a mammoth on fucking Cove?
No, I couldn't have that. One of them big hairy women, I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, like a bit of a go-on, something like that. Yeah, great big hairy woman. Dire woman.
Big
You're climbing all over it.
Yeah, right, blonde everywhere.
Yeah, sculling around on her.
Big hairy tits.
Nice. Once again, was sort of sticking. Oh, we've got a little bit of an eco vibe going on. I think we'll keep rolling with this arcade. You know, it's kind of accidental, but it's working. It's working. So, do you remember the story we had a bit back about some fucking mad godbotherer, an American, who decided he wanted to land on an island to try and preach to them and sort of like...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they shot him to death with arrows.
Yeah,
didn't they?
that
You know
was
what I
funny.
mean?
That
I found that absolutely
They're scary,
brilliant.
all them people.
He was called John Allen Chow, was that guy. 2018 is when he was an American missionary who landed on that island, and he got completely fucked up by the natives. But everyone had said as well that basically this island is called the Andaman Islands, off the coast of India.
Yeah.
And these are protected islands. The people on there are literally almost like sort of they've never changed.
Yeah.
They've never changed what they do, how they are, how they live. They're not aware of the outside world.
Yeah.
They're just not sort of, you know, they're a wild.
Totally isolated.
Totally isolated. Yeah. So you should not be tampering with that sort of thing. Yeah. You go across those islands, you could be carrying any sorts of disease, infection, anything like that. Yeah. And if you could wipe these people
One
out,
sneeze.
Yeah. So basically, they are protected. They're looked after. You should not be going there. Yeah. You know. Anyway, it's only fucking happened again.
Oh.
Mikhailo Vitrovich Polyakov, 24, who's actually an American tourist, right? Yeah. Decided to take it on himself to go.
God botherer again, oh.
No, I think he's just a fucking arsehole.
Oh, God.
Right? So he's decided to go, right? So apparently what he did was he kind of landed on the island, this guy, and he was blowing a whistle while he was offshore. So he
Getting
wanted
their
them-
attention.
Getting their
Yeah.
attention. So he didn't want to startle them and sneak up on them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So then he sort of like, as he was blowing this whistle, he was carrying with him a coconut and a Diet Coke.
What kind of
A
mix is
coconut
that?
and a Diet Coke, right? That's what he had with him, right? He had a
the not have coconuts to take it then?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, I think in his crazed way, he wanted to almost like equate one with the other. Look, if you crack open a coconut,
yeah.
you can drink it.
If you
Here's a
crack
can of
a
Coke. Why would you introduce Coke to these guys?
Exactly.
But this is the American mindset.
Yeah, yeah.
Even-
Coca-Cola,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
And freedom.
Coca-Cola nut. But apparently he first used an inflatable kayak on October the 24th, right, to try and get across the bit. He was stopped by hotel staff, right, so they sort of saying, stop being so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Then January 2025, he tried again, unsuccessful. This time he used another inflatable boat with a motor to travel with roughly 35 kilometres of open sea from the main archipelago. But apparently, I don't think the tribe sort of came to him. I think it seems to me what's happened is,
They were scared shitless at whistle. Like, what the fuck is that?
well, they might be on the other side of the island, they might not
Yeah,
be anywhere nearby, they might be observing from a distance, but he's there approaching, trying to get on there. He's obviously filmed this fucking GoPro footage because he's going to stick it on fucking YouTube like an absolute lemon.
Yeah.
But then he's been stopped. I think other authorities have kind of collared him, dragged him away before he got killed or shot to death with arrows or various things like this. You know what I
Shame
mean?
he didn't.
But, well, this is the thing. It's the arrogance of people.
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah, yeah.
All right, it's an adventure. It's one of these things you can look at it like that. But also, you just fucking stop it, you dickhead.
Yeah. Why
You know?
should you be the person? Yeah.
What gives you the right to be the guy who's doing this, who's going out there? You know what I mean? And he's obviously decided to it himself. No, I am going to be that person. And I don't think. You do get it with other countries, but it does seem especially prevalent with the Americans.
Yeah,
So they just sort of think
definitely.
they feel entitled to go and do whatever they want, and I just think, fucking just stop it. I think more than ever now.
He should be prosecuted as well, though. He should be fucking thrown in jail for that.
Well, could it not be said that if he was not careful, it could have been... What happens if he brought flu or something to the island? Attempted murder.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It should have been sort of like, the I don't know what the actual crimes are that he can be jailed with. I'm sure they've got very, very, very stiff sentences for him.
Yeah.
But he's definitely going to jail as this guy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's definitely going to jail. He'll be good. He won't be slapped with a fine or something.
Yeah,
The guy's an absolute fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, hello, Indian prison for you, boy.
Oh, exactly. That'd be quite nice for him, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. It's the black hole of Calcutta.
Yeah.
That's what you get him stuck in somewhere like that because he's only a little report because it's a follow up. Is that one?
Yeah.
It's a follow up. Is that one because we have covered that island and somebody's had another go again, and I think it's not particularly funny. I just think it's like you absolute fucking clown. But the issue they do have with those areas is the whole Andaman and Nicobar Islands are strategically sited on key global shipping lanes.
Right.
They're close to Myanmar, closer to Myanmar than mainland India. So Myanmar, they've got fucking beef with the Indians, you know.
Yeah.
And New Delhi plans to invest at least $9 billion to expand naval and air bases near the area. You know what I mean?
Right. So they are seeing stuff. They are seeing boats. You think from this
I
island?
think they kind of are. I don't think they're seeing much.
Yeah,
I think it's one of these things where they'll witness planes going over, they'll see boats on the
It
rise.
must be frightening, kind of. Oh, not you just think.
Well, this is what we discussed as well about cargo cults, if you remember,
Yeah,
where they
yeah.
actually sort of like they find boxes of things wash up, you know. So there will be things washing up.
Yeah.
So there'll be all sorts of detritus that'll sort of wash up ashore.
And
Like in a-
Coke bottles. I bet they've seen one of them before anyway, haven't
Well,
they?
this is
Empty,
probably the
but-
fact. Yeah, they'll have seen stuff like this, but what myths they might have made or stories they might have made around these things floating ashore.
I mean, it's bizarre. I'd love to know more with that.
I know, that's it, yeah. I would like to go and ask them, though,
No,
you know what I mean?
they look really frightening.
But yeah, well, in a weird way, we do know. I mean, if you look at like the whole thing with Prince Philip being treated as a god
Yeah.
by cargo cults,
Yeah.
and certain things where they do believe sort of like white men, they believe stories of white men coming out of the skies and sort of like being gods and things. It's fucking mental, but
It
it's
is,
like
isn't
it's how the human mind reacts to the unexplainable.
Yeah.
You know, this is why people talk about like the myths that we have of like I don't know.
Jesus.
Well, creation myths, if you look at any country's creation myths, they're all wild stories. Sort of like some woman giving birth to oceans of milk, and then that milk turns into a man, and the man turns into a horse, and the horse sort of weeps tears that sort of from there these islands sprang from. You're like, what?
Isn't it? Yeah.
And basically what it is, it's just the most convincing bullshit amongst the whole
best
lot.
Story, innit? Best story.
Best story, that's
it.
This is the best story, right? So he's like come up with an idea, and they'll go, well, I'll do. That's that. Oh, Jeff, tell that really good story you made up earlier to so-and-so. So it tells it to all kids. All kids grow up thinking it was true. Yeah. They pass it into their kids. Next thing you've got a religion.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Watched the Life of Brian on Easter Sunday with Little, and
fucking
she absolutely loved it, man. We were howling. I've forgotten how funny it was.
He's a genius.
It is really good.
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
it. Yeah,
I've got a bit of what's it called? Mandela effect with it. You remember that lassie's muff in Life of Brian?
Yeah.
It wasn't really there. I thought she opened the window and she was talking to the crowd in the nut.
No, that was him.
Yeah, I remember. I thought he wasn't as
Judith.
Yeah, Judith's muff wasn't as big as I remembered it. As a kid, it frightened the shite out of me.
I remember Judith's muff being massive.
It wasn't that big. I think they cut it out. Because I was telling you, you're going to prepare for this. This is like, wow.
I wasn't seen anything like this.
Yeah, it's like
look at Furburger on that.
And it was quite alright. It wasn't that big at all. I'm like, I'm sure.
Weird.
Well, honestly, I watched it and thought there's some.
But every time I've watched it, I've looked at that and thought, Jesus Christ, that's a big old muff.
Yeah, and it wasn't that big.
Yeah.
Honestly, the weirdest thing
But
I've ever
do you think
seen.
it says we've got old, we're a bit more sort of okay with it?
Muffs have got smaller, haven't they? Not bigger.
Well, no, the hairy muff's back apparently.
Is it?
Yeah, people are going full hairy again. And I know things like, for example, the British cycling team, sort of like over the last sort of 15 years, they had a big issue for the women.
Yeah.
Well, they were getting infections and things from when they were cycling, right?
Yeah,
and they thought, well, why are the women getting all these infections and sores and all sorts of stuff, right? Realised it was because all the lasses are only a tidy up downstairs. So then they realised, and they said to her, look, we don't want to be too insensitive about this, but stop tidying up so much.
Yeah.
That kind of pad of a bit of hair gives you protection.
It's there for a reason, isn't it?
It's there for a reason, yeah. And it's not just the smell of piss.
You call it a piss mop?
Big piss mop. Well, it's not women's fault again. They just have to piss through it.
Yeah,
we don't.
Yeah.
We know all the big old bush we were pissing through. It stinks.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah,
that's it. You know, you just need to, but it's like, it is natural. It's absolutely fine. I mean, I don't see why anyone would shave anything if they don't need to.
Exactly.
Obviously, if they do, it's very polite and nice.
But too much, I don't like. I like a stripe. You know what I mean?
Do you? Like just to show you where to go.
Yeah.
A landing strip.
Full beaver.
Yeah, so that's the thing with this guy landing on this fucking island. He's been an absolute twat.
I bet they have big bushes.
No, a lot of these islanders don't.
What?
A lot of them don't have loads of body hair.
All right.
And I think it seems to be where anyone who lives sort of like in island or hot countries has a lot less body hair than say, for example, people who are sort of from our genetic makeup. You know what I mean?
Does it heat, you think?
I really don't know. I don't know what it's all about, that bit of fur here and the bit of fur there, you know what I mean? But again, look at our skin being so white. You put us on one of those islands, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, they're absolutely fine. Yeah. So it obviously shows genetically something's happened where we're very, very white for a reason. Yeah. And we also have body hair in places which, it might be the case we're relating more to fucking Neanderthals or something, I don't know, but it might not be. But they're a breed of their own, sort of like as not as a species, that's an absolutely terrible thing to say, but as a part of the human race who have developed perfectly for their environment. No big bushes. Did you ever see that thing? I think he's called Bruce Perry.
Oh,
he's got a new series. I can't watch any of his shows because he's basically travelling around loads of fucking tribes everywhere. Getting high as a fucking cat, getting injured, falling ill, puking up ayahuasca all over the shop.
I stopped at that one where he's barfing up. Yeah.
The worst one I ever saw was from his first series that he did. And it was fucking horrible. because he went to this tribe, and this tribe could...
Tucking his dick in.
Yeah, have I mentioned it on here before?
Oh, I've seen it. It was awful.
It's one of the worst things I've seen on
his colour, you saw his colour completely go, didn't you?
So basically what it was, this tribe walks around and they've got the fucking dicks tucked inside them, right? And he's
yeah.
And he's talking and said, like, well, how the hell do you do that? We can't do that. He goes, no, you can. Anybody can do it. You just haven't done it.
Yeah.
And he says, no, you can't do it. We can't do it. None of us do that. It's not part of us that do that. He says, yes, you can. This is how you do it. Reaches out, grabs him by the cock. You hear this horrible snapping noise, right?
I could puke.
And he's done something to put his dick inside him, right?
God.
And Bruce Perry's face, he just goes green.
He wore it green.
He goes green and collapses.
God. Oh, God, no.
And it's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
I could just spew it. And he's still doing it.
And he's still going out. I'm just waiting for the next person that took his dick inside him for him.
No, that'd be enough for me retired there, mate. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, put that for a game of soldiers. I like my dick wagging in wind. Just taking a little bit of a break from the old eco stories.
Yeah, a good run of them there, Skip.
Good little run. So it's just something and a little news story that I saw, and I thought, what? So anyway, it looks like we're going to New York City.
New York. I'm walking here.
I'm walking. So what seems to have happened is there's been on a train, right, on the southbound R train near Whitehall Street Station in Manhattan at about 12:20 a.m. It looks like a guy has just died. He just fucking died on the train. He's unresponsive. He's fucking passed out, right? And then what's happened is it looks like somebody then he's gone in and he's robbed this corpse.
Oh, right.
Which I just sort of think, you bastards. He's gone through his pockets, nicked his stuff and all that sort of stuff, right? And anyway, next thing you know, this another guy sort of like has wandered past, noticed him, right? And sort of thought to myself, right, all right, on about. It looks like somebody here and unresponsive, all that sort of stuff.
Took his shoes.
So, robbed him again.
Oh.
Robbed him again. Paused for a while. Had a little look around. And fucked it.
On the trip. Oh, whoa.
This is what seems to have happened.
Oh, God.
The statement did not elaborate exactly what this guy did. Right, but he said he was carrying a black backpack. He had a blue baseball cap, black hooded jacket, yellow hooded sweatshirt, blue jeans, and red and white sneakers. A poster distributed to transit workers alleged that the man wanted in the case had engaged in sexual intercourse with a dead body on the train.
Bloody hell.
Now, with probable cause, 51-year-old Carlos Garcia, last known addresses in the Bronx, is the guy they want for this, right?
So
they think they know who it is. He says that the identified wanted poster said Garcia could be seen on the surveillance footage taking items from the pockets of the dead person before violating the corpse and fleeing.
What kind of animal?
I mean, the thing is there, right, first of all, you're out for the day or you're out for the evening, whatever you're doing, you know what I mean? You've got your gear on, you're walking around, and then you just sort of think, hello, there's a dead
hello,
body.
gorgeous.
What's a nice corpse like you doing in a place like this? But first, he's obviously thought it's a robbing opportunity first.
Yeah.
He's gone in there, he's thought to himself, I'm going to see if this guy's anything, you know. Gone through pockets, got fizzed up.
Oh, God, how
and then decided to fuck
imagine a lolling dead corpse, all rocking in train and that.
And the thing is, as well, it's a bloke, it's a male corpse. So he's basically...
He's gone for gob or he's gone for the booty. Yeah.
He's gone from one to other. So but basically, he'll be able to look around like mad. He'll be thinking, shit, right, got to be a little bit cautious here, you know. So he's been looking round.
You can't go for body, can you? You're like, literally,
if he had.
That is an animal.
You mean even for mouth, you're looking down at a dead body.
I know, but you're not like getting a belt undone and rolling him over. You know what I mean? Or you can like just popping it in gob out. It's terrible.
Pack a lure pack out your butt. Because you're not going to dry bum a corpse, are you?
Exactly.
And it's dead.
Oh,
It's
God.
fucking dead, man. He got it bent over seats. He's fucking firing it at the back of that. Somebody walks in. It's not what it looks like. Fucking is. It's a lot worse, mate.
Yeah, he was dead already.
Fucking hellfire. You make the fucking Jimmy Savile look like Timmy Mallet, yeah?
He needs to be locked up forever, don't he? I wonder how they got his name so quickly.
Well, I think he was identified, probably CCTV, might be another
and then
offender.
someone's like, I know that.
Yeah. What, dead man bummer, corpse bummer, Carlos Garcia.
Losing it graveyard. Yeah, I know.
That's the guy, yeah, that's it.
Works in mortuary.
Yeah, it's...
Just at it all the time.
Fucking hell. I mean, but you getting fizzed up for it. Getting hard for that.
God. I don't want to even bring it up, but that one, that English bloke who got done for it,
Yeah.
Oh, me, that's an awful story.
I occasionally remember that, and you just sort of think to yourself, fucking hell.
Yeah, ain't there no peace in this earth? You know what I mean?
That's it.
What the fuck? How many dark people are really here? You know what I mean? Evil.
Steady on, man. Don't be saying that.
Oh, come on. No, what's it?
Not all cops fuckers are, kid.
You know what I mean?
You fell into that one,
papers? No. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean, though? It's fucking disturbing, isn't it?
Well, he's with that urge, and what got me about that guy, because he basically became a mortuary worker because that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And anyone who does that, you're just thinking, right, what do I want as a job? Yeah. I know what I'll do. I'll become a mortuary worker and I can just fuck everything I want.
How do you get that kink?
I've only touched a dead body once and it wasn't nice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like, and it was only Ed.
Yeah.
And I just think how anybody could get. What's the process of getting turned on by it?
I don't know, because it's such a. You know that everything's left it, and when you see it, you know what I mean? It's like.
Well, that might be part of it. The sort of thing, ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. What goes in morgue stays in morgue.
God. The old Savile and all, isn't it?
The Scaramouche or whatever he called it.
Fucking.
I just you've got to be really, really, really warped to even get anywhere near doing anything like that. So this guy's been on a train and done it.
On a moving train.
On a moving train, I bet. But he might be. That was a bit exotic, you know what I mean?
Best one at week.
And you sort of talk as well, don't you? People talk about like the 9 Mile High Club, don't they? Whatever it is, you know what I mean? He's like the fucking 6 Feet Under Club, innit? It's just so, But to him, it might be the sexiest thing that's ever happened.
Oh, God.
How horrible's that?
That is. Cops has got a family, hasn't he? You know what I mean? It's like, he got what? Robbed twice and then what?
Yeah, that's it. What happened to him?
That's a closed casket. You could look at that, could you?
No. Or lipstick all over his face. One bite on neck.
Yeah. What's that hanging? Oh. Is that a Johnny?
With knob hat wilting off at end of it. In his gob. Johnny in his gob. Oh, no. It's like Silence of the Lambs. He's got something stuck in his throat. What is it? Oh, it's a knob hat.
Knob hat. Where do you fucking get those from? Oh, that's brilliant. A knob hat. Oh, is that time already?
Is that time already, Arcade? You know what I mean?
Mate, it's been a good one, alright, enjoyed that.
Yeah, we've had it, and it was a bit of a theme which I didn't expect to occur there. You know what I mean? A bit of an eco theme. Yeah.
Alright.
It's a bit of a fucking eco theme through gritted teeth. Yeah. And I always like that. Anything you say through gritted teeth just sounds menacing.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Mary had a little lamb. But we're going to now, for the last story, we're going to Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, Ohio.
And we're not just travelling to the US of A, we're actually travelling back in time. We're travelling to September the 27th, 1986.
Ooh, bit 80s action, I like it.
This is it, right? And so what we've got here is we've got a big charity event, right? A big publicity, harmless charity stunt, which we wanted to do, right? It was for, let's see what the charity was for. It's the United Way, which I don't know what that charity is, right? It's a charity called the United Way, right? So what they wanted to do was they wanted to sort of like, I can't remember what it was for, but it's a big sponsored event, right?
Yep.
And I think everyone was going to sponsor a balloon.
Right.
That was the whole idea.
Like
right?
a little balloon.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like a sponsor of balloon, right?
Yeah.
So what they wanted to do in Cleveland, Ohio, on this particular day was everyone sponsors a balloon, then release the balloons.
Yeah.
And it was going to be the most amount of balloons ever released in one space at any one time.
Wow.
And it was known as Balloonfest '86, right? They got 1.5 million balloons.
How the fuck? So how do you blow that many balloons up?
So what they did is between skyscrapers.
Yeah.
They put these massive nets between the skyscrapers, right? So
Yeah.
these
Why don't I know
massive
this
mesh
story
bags,
a bit?
right?
Yeah.
These bags were huge. The big nets were massive, and they were full. I think there was like two sets of them. Two sets of these things meant to be released, so about $250,000, $750,000 in each of these things, right? So it was on the day, they're all ready to go, and everything like that, right? They said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bang! They released these fucking balloons, right? They all went up in the air. Everyone went fucking amazing. So to go back a little bit, right? It was coordinated by a Los Angeles-based company called Treb Haining, right? And it was called Balloon Art by Treb. And they spent 6 months preparing for the event. A rectangular structure the size of a city block was set up to hold the balloons on the southwest quadrant of Cleveland's public square.
You know this ain't going to turn out well.
It measured 250 feet by 150 feet, was 3 stories high, and was covered with a one-piece net of woven mesh material.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a big box that they've done with this mesh on the top. Right. Inside this, 2,500 volunteers, consisting mainly of high school students, spent hours and hours and hours filling the balloons with helium. One described the preparation as like an assembly line, non-stop.
God.
So basically what happened is that because the children's sponsorship for this, it was about, in today's money, it was 2.87 something. So it was going to be $1 a balloon. That's the way it was going to do. You sponsor a balloon for $1. That's what. So this is the amount of money they were making, really. So it's like, adds up. It adds up to quite a bit of money for them, right? So on Saturday, September the 27th, 1986, a rainstorm was approaching. So organisers decided on an early release of the balloons at about 1:50. A crowd of around 100,000 people gathered in downtown Cleveland for the event. Close to 1.5 million balloons rose up a surrounding terminal tower and surpassing a world record set previously a year on the previous year on the 30th anniversary of Disney. They're the ones who'd done it originally, right?
Yeah.
Now these balloons normally would all just rise and go and go and go and disperse, right?
Yeah.
What had happened on that day with this storm coming in was low pressure. So there was a front of cool air and rain, right? And it caused all the balloons then to descend.
Oh, God. Onto the crowd.
Onto the city.
Jesus.
So suddenly the whole city's ground to a halt. And I can't describe how many balloons this is. Right? 1.5 million. But if you think the size of a balloon,
It's big, isn't it?
right?
Yeah.
If you fill, maybe a few hundred would fill your garden.
Yeah.
1.5 million of them filled the city. Cars ground to wall. Everything stopped.
Visibility completely gone.
Down to nothing. Right. That was exactly it. Right. They clogged the land and the waterways and everything.
Jeez.
Eventually, bit by bit, they actually started descending, drifted out onto Lake Erie. Did all these balloons?
Lake Erie.
Yeah, Lake Erie. So the lake was covered in rubber balloons.
Bloody hell.
The issue they had, there were storms out, all this sort of stuff. There's fishing on Lake Erie. It's more like an inland seas lake. It was massive. So there's commercial fishers out there, but water, and they need search and rescue operations.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for anybody lost in the water, all you can see is balloons look like heads. They can't find any heads, anything like this, right? I've just been working out how much in latex rubber This is alone in balloons. 7.5 tons of little bits of rubber for animals to eat, for aliens to tuck in.
What an absolute fucking fact.
And something else which is really in scarcity now, helium.
Yeah.
These balloons were filled with helium. Helium now is an extremely rare resource which is needed for all sorts of stuff. But this just parked it out. Yeah. And once helium, the amazing thing with helium is once it goes, it just keeps going into space.
God.
It doesn't stop.
All right. Yeah,
so once the amount of helium that we have on the planet is gone, there's no more helium. We'll be a helium-free planet, and we need it for things like certain medical equipment needs helium. Essentially, loads of stuff needs helium. No helium, and so they just release these balloons up, and it says. Burke Lakefront Airport had to shut down a runway for half an hour after balloons landed there. Traffic collisions were also reported as drivers swerved to avoid slow-motion blizzards of multicoloured orbs or took their eyes off the road to gawk at the overhead spectacle.
God.
So this is what I'm about the fishermen. Two fishermen, Raymond Broderick and Bernard Sulzer, had gone out on September the 26th and were reported missing by their families on the day of the event. Rescuers spotted their 16-foot boat anchored west of the Edgewater Park breakwall. A Coast Guard search and rescue helicopter crew had difficulty reaching the area because of the asteroid field of balloons. Just flying the helicopter through this cloud of balloons was amazing. Guard officials said balloons in the water made it impossible to see whether anyone was on the lake. The fishermen's bodies subsequently washed ashore.
Oh, God.
The wife of one of the fishermen sued United Way of Cleveland, right, and the company that organised the balloon release for $3.2 million, right?
Well, pissed it straight at wind, haven't they?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And he says, so Roger Rice, Search and Rescue Programme Manager for Coast Guard District 9, said, Balloonfest did not have anything to do with the unfortunate deaths of both these men. You cannot say that. You cannot say, I think they couldn't find them. Something else might have occurred. But they've obviously had to pay out. So if this company had to pay out, there's some culpability.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Balloons landing on a pasture in George County, Ohio, spooked Louis Nakowski's Arabian horses, which had allegedly suffered permanent injuries as a result. So these horses were absolutely ran amok, right? And she sued United Way for $100,000 as well. The whole fundraiser lost so much money.
And everybody worked so hard, like it's that production line of it, just creating hell, just creating havoc, chaos.
Well, I think in any way, I think that's a whole analogy for all the stuff we talked about, all the effort, all the things people put into just to destroy the planet. All hundreds and hundreds of hours, the balloon manufacturers, the money that was paid, the helium that was thing, all to create nothing but mayhem.
And how long did it last? I bet it were insane how long bits of red rubber and balloons.
Well, we'll be finding rubber now. I bet you can go to Ohio and have a dig and you'll find a bit of balloon somewhere. This stuff doesn't degrade.
Contaminated the whole area.
All that effort to completely fuck up your environment. It's like the cane toads. It's like making animals that we don't know whether they're going to do good for the country or not, or the world or not, by reinventing animals at the cost of billions. Stop fucking about.
I feel bad now. I missed your birthday 2 weeks ago, didn't I? And I felt scullery full of red balloons. A little bit awkward now, Skip.
Well, why do we go inside and just have a little party in there? Then we can pop the balloons and we can
I've got a cake and that. I felt really bad. I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's our kid's birthday.
Completely forgot that one.
You never do remember that. It's not like my birthday's on July the 8th.
Shit. Happy birthday, Skip. Well done.
Thank you very much. I don't really celebrate my birthday.
I don't know. I hate it. It's a private affair to me.
That's it. It's me just staring at a mirror and worry. So on that note, I'm just going to say to everyone, take care of the planet, kid. Look after things.
Take care of yourselves.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of the planet. And as I keep saying with these things, go for a little walk and marvel at the nature we've got out there. A bit of wildlife. Turn over a stone. Look at a beetle. Stuff like that.
Have a nice peaceful wank.
That's a good idea.
All of you. Have 10. Go on.
Have to treat yourself.
Go rub one off.
Have a cup of tea and a wank. Right?
You can feel better.
Loads better.
Loads better. You get a bit sleepy, but you'll feel better.
That's right. And you will have my shameful belly. So all it remains for me to say now is a big bye-bye from Matt.
And it's a bigger bye-bye from Ben. Take care, guys.
at Kraken Cove. Either by email at krakencovepodcast@gmail.com, on Twitter at Kraken Cove, or Instagram at Kraken Cove Pod. Ha ha!